one of the 5 driver areas of Connecticut Top is community vibrancy. And when this task force started in 2011, we have 3 co-chairs to the committee: Nancy Whitworth from the city of Greenville, Terrence Roberts, the mayor of Anderson, and Torrance Inman from the Union County Chamber of Commerce. And I know both Terrence and Torrance are here. If you guys would stand up and be recognized. This task force, and there are a number of members I know in the audience as well from the task force, said, you know what, we know there are a lot of communities here in South Carolina and the Upstate that are doing good things, but we also know there are a lot of communities that are struggling. And wouldn't it be great if we could create a list of some of the initiatives that are being done here in South Carolina and then also across the country that showcase and highlight community vibrancy, both community vibrancy and economic vibrancy, really to help communities create a sense of place. And so we said that would be a great idea. How do we do that? Well, fortunately, we had a partnership with a professor, Abe Goldberg, at USC Upstate. And Abe said, you know, this works very well. He is in the government and planning departments there. And he said, this would go really well with what my students are doing. So over 2 semesters, we had students in his classes look at community vibrancy initiatives, some in South Carolina and some in other parts of the country. And in all different sizes of communities, because we knew we have very small communities and we have, of course, larger communities here in the Upstate. And so what they did was create a list of about 50 communities across the Upstate, or across the country, that had vibrancy initiatives. And some of we had mentors, some of which are here for those students. And at the end of the process, we said, you know, this is really good, but wouldn't it be great if we had a workshop that we brought in some of these folks from across the country to share with some of our communities? And then we said, well, you know what, one workshop would be fine, but wouldn't it be great if we went out and did this across the region? And so earlier this year, we had 4 community vibrancy workshops in 2 days. We brought, I can only imagine the phone call when someone from our office called we had someone from California, we had people from Massachusetts, and all that stuff. Will you come to Upstate South Carolina for 2 days and ride around with us in a van to talk to communities about what you're doing in your area? Well, believe it or not, we had 10 different folks from these places who said, yes, absolutely, we'll come. And they were great. And we had 4 workshops that had nice crowds, people from many different communities. And part of the importance of doing these across the region instead of in one place was I know we impacted a lot of people who would not have otherwise heard and been part of this. So that was really good. But about 2 weeks before that happened, I got a phone call from Phil Hughes, who had been part of the committee. He's the vice chair of Connecticut Top right now, and he had been part of the community vibrancy workshops or the committee and one of the mentors. And he said, you know, the workshops are going to be really good, but wouldn't it be great if we could create some seed money to help some of these initiatives to move to the next level? And of course, any of you, especially those who work like I do in a nonprofit, you know it's, a lot of times people have these great ideas, but then they kind of end it there, and then you have to go on and figure out how to pay for that. Well, but he had another buddy. But you know what? I'm going to help, or I am going to pay for it. And he offered $10,000 a year for 5 years of seed money to help us grow initiatives here in the Upstate. And so from that was born, and it really took us, Phil, about 2 days? I mean, it took almost no time to come up with exactly how to move it. The Hughes Investments Elevate Upstate Community Vibrancy Grants. And just to show the need and the value, we had 30 applicants from across the region, at least one application from each of the 10 counties. And unfortunately, we can't fund all those programs, although I think many of them would be great, and I encourage anyone who wants a list, we'll give you a list. ways to invest in our communities. But, Phil has started this program, and we are so thrilled to have it this year and then for the next 4 years at least, and hopefully even on in perpetuity beyond that. But at this time, it's my pleasure to call and bring up Phil Hughes to kick us off for the presentations of our 5 finalists for the Hughes Investments Community Vibrancy Grants. So let's give Phil a round of applause.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here, and it's an honor to be here. I can't tell you how much 10 to the Top has done. The idea of having 10 counties, one upstate, coming together to be stronger is a phenomenal idea that all of you are helping to make a reality. And the reality around the upstate is that we've all seen change. How many of you are natives to the upstate? Well, it's interesting. That may be about half. It's wonderful to have the other half here, but we can all remember all kinds of things that have changed. And Ben mentioned earlier I-85, and I couldn't help but think about what I was doing as a kid in my father's car, 100 miles an hour on I-85 coming back from Clemson. The road wasn't open yet. And he either knew the Sloans or the Ashmores or somebody that had paved it and told him it was finished. And he's out there beyond the barricades, and we were barreling down the road at night. It's a good lesson. Always get complete information. Because we would launch him off into the air. The road ended. We were out in the gravel and the dirt. So the things that change around here always change. They come in steps. And we're now at a time where we can make a great new step forward. And it's easy for me to be here and offer a check. But what's really important are the people. President Roosevelt's wife said something to the effect of small minds talk about people, average minds talk about events, and great minds talk about ideas. But what we're really doing here is talking about the idea of helping to support financially an event that is completely impossible without people. So I think when you put the 3 of them together, you get far more than any one individually, and we hear about people. And one comment I'd like to make about the growth of downtown Greenville. We all have seen it, you've heard the stories and everything about the transformation. And part of the transformation certainly is narrowing the streets, planning things, having nice buildings. But I think the thing that goes so understated is the events that happen in downtown Greenville. When you really look at what makes it fun, it's all the hard work, so many different art, food, festive, it's fun. We're all kids at heart. We want to have fun wherever we are. And it's not a bad thing at all. We shouldn't always be mature, but not necessarily grow up, if you know what I mean. So this became an opportunity, after working in Abe's class and seeing the different projects that came together, to realize, wow, there's so many good ideas across the country. This group is bringing so many good ideas together. Why don't we simply put some seed money out there and see if we can grow something? You know, what Brad's done in a short 15 years, all that everyone's done with these things, it has to start somewhere. So we just want to be here for a moment, help them get started, hopefully step out of the way, and watch the upstate grow together and grow with the different things you can do to have fun around here, making it a great place to live. So with that, I think Dave's going to come back up and introduce our 5 finalists, and I think I get the pleasure of coming back and helping present the actual winners. Thank you, Dave. All right, our first finalist is the town of Calhoun Falls in Abbeville County, and that's Lee Garrett. Come on up.
Good evening. I'm the mayor in Calhoun Falls, one of your small communities in the neighborhood, if you will, of the upstate. I want to thank Phil Hughes. When you get to the point that you have an investment firm in the largest and most beautiful, one of the most beautiful cities in the Southeast, to make an extension of opportunity out to a rural community, then we got something going on. I want to thank the Phil Hughes, the investment firm, and I want to thank 10 at the Top, which I can't speak about this opportunity without expressing the impact that 10 at the Top has had on me, as I have shouldered up to some of the members of 10 at the Top. And I want to begin with a slide that I hope. Those of you who have been associated with 10 at the Top, you'll be familiar with this. This shows one of about 8 mega regions in the United States. This is the Charlotte area, Atlanta area here. This is I-85 corridor. This is where we are today. This is growing whether you like it or not. Where I live is down here, where we don't have so much of the dynamic growth. When I first sat with attendant top members, my question to myself was, what about us? This is going to be all about the big cities and the mayors of the big cities. And I come to find out that we have a lot. In our community, we have put together a strategic economic development plan, and it is to establish our relevance to this mega region. This mega region is one of the reasons that we're poor in our rural counties. We can't compete with it for business anymore. But we want to connect to this region. That'll be the gist of what I'll be talking to you about today. This is our community. I want you to notice this Highway 81, which we've renamed to Calhoun Shores Parkway. What was, we're sitting on, by the way, on the shores of the Lake Russell. It's within our city limits. Here's the Lake Cove, Blue Hole Cove. This is the town originally. This is where the mill was or is. It's being torn down as we speak. It was our economy. Today we are struggling to rebirth our community. But we've been blessed with this, which is Lake Russell, a federal property. We've been recognized as a gateway community to a federal land by the Conservation Fund, a federal group. They've been in our community for 3.5 days, doing an assessment of the livability of our community. The cove, Blue Hole Cove that we'll be talking about is this cove here. Comes into our city limits. The Blue Hole Cove is right here. It's a recreational area that we've spent over $90,000. Hard to do in a small town, to renovate everything there. Everything we do is not about our community. Everything we do is about the region. We do things for the region, and we will be the beneficiary, and we've realized that through our association with 10 at the top and the philosophies of collaboration. So all this area here is part of our strategic plan, and there's a lot of conceptual things here. We have a number of things in the ground. Our project is a lighting project. This is part of the Blue Hole Cove coming in here. There's a sidewalk that runs along here behind these trees. And we've had many events down here, Freedom Blast, Summer Blast, Paddle Fest, things of that nature. We had to string lights up, if it went into the night for safety reasons and stuff like that. Our project is to have elegant period lighting along these sidewalks. I'm going to come back to this discussion momentarily about being connected and disconnected in just a moment. One more slide here. This is going to the left. There's one of the sidewalks there. One of our shelters. We have a pavilion project that is underway. The bids are out and the plans are going forward. This will be one of the most significant entertainment venues on the freshwater coast. We're very proud of it. It have rock columns. It'll be 8 foot in the back, 16 foot on the front. And we have the funding to do that project. We do not have funding for this lighting project, which will be very necessary. I want to back up and talk about quickly the connectivity and disconnectivity. And I want you to bear with me. It's kind of a commercial, so I'm going to need your imaginations. Picture for a moment a computer screen, and you see computations. You see the hands working the keyboard, and you see a bridge being designed or a building being designed, or financial computations. What you're seeing is the power of the computer, the power of connectivity. And then you see younger hands, and it's someone, a youth, searching the world, getting entertainment. Music's playing, reaches a crescendo, and then all of a sudden logging off and disconnected, and there's a deafening silence. And then you hear a bird, and then you hear another bird. You pan back and you see that this engineer or manager and his son are in a treehouse, and they're disconnected. They put on a harness, go out to the veranda, flip to a zip line, and soar away through the hardwoods like one of the eagles or one of the owls or one of the hawks in the area. Go to a trailhead, take a bike on the Green Lake, or take a kayak or canoe on the Blue Lake. It's important to be disconnected. In Calvin Falls, we are your disconnect. We are your destination. We are connected to you. This project gives us an opportunity to have venues and events in our community. We're very grateful for the opportunity. Thank you very much.
It may take many layers to create community vibrancy in each one's community. However, for the City of Anderson, our downtown revitalization efforts incorporates many layers. We have found that embracing public art is paramount into creating a unique environment and a pleasurable, memorable experience. Public art contributes to vibrancy in the downtown, and it is an economic development tool. But public art doesn't always have to be an expensive endeavor. So we're proposing 2 projects that are creative, budget-friendly, and low maintenance. The first one is crosswalk art. Crosswalks don't have to be just painted lines to guide a pedestrian across the street. Why not make them inspiring as well? As you can see here, you've got one graphic that shows just a crosswalk, nothing very visual to look at. The second one gives you something to think about. You see some tracks that says, "For my city," makes you think for just a moment about what that is all about. This is going to be transforming crosswalks to art walks. This is a very simple project. Stencils will be made of artwork. They're placed on the crosswalk and they're simply painted. When we need to refresh them, we're just going to repeat the process. Here are 2 more examples of what these crosswalks may look like. I'm going to move on to art boxes. All of us in our communities have these utility traffic signalization boxes. They're necessary, but they are not attractive. So why not make them beautiful as well? Let's transform these boxes to art boxes. As you can see, we have chosen a vinyl wrap, again using artwork to transform these to art boxes. Essentially, they are mini murals, again giving some pedestrians and motorists something very visual and exciting to look at. Now, you may be wondering how we chose this artwork. Here's another example right here of what we may choose. We just recently opened a new park, named it Carolina Wren Park, that builds on some existing assets that we already have in our downtown. We have over 20 installations of bronze wrens, and we also have published a book about our wrens, and it's called Little Wren Lost in the Tea Kettle Call. In this book are several color illustrations and black and white illustrations. This is where we have selected the artwork that we'll use for both these projects. So in closing, this is a very vibrant project. They are creative, they are budget friendly, they are low maintenance. And we feel like these fully embody all of the elements needed for vibrancy and meet these grant requirements. In closing, I'd like to also thank Hughes Investments and 10 at the Top for this opportunity, and we are deeply honored to be selected as one of your finalists. Thank you.
So when Dean gave me all these rules, 3 minutes, 4 slides, I was like, okay, I'll write everything I want to say in big print so I can get through it, and when I do that, it never goes the way I want to. So, listening, I'm excited to talk about our project a little bit, but also kind of tying back to the connectivity that we have in Greenville and the Upstate. Brad mentioned one of the first projects was the Swamp Rabbit Trail. I am in charge of the Swamp Rabbit Trail in the county sections, so I'm essentially, I guess, the love child of Brad Weiss and Carlton Owen. I'm very happy to have that honor. I guess that's where thank you, Brad. I guess that's where I get my height from. Our project is a couple of things I wanted to mention about our project. Of course, I'm nervous I'm doing it right. To the right. There we go. Okay. Mine's just going to run on a loop. We're inside a building. I thought I'd show you some outdoor pictures and some ideas of what we're trying to accomplish. Hopefully, for my job security, you've either been on the Swamp Rabbit Trail or you know of it. The Greenville Health System Swamp Rabbit Trail is currently 17.5 miles long. In 2010, we opened the first 9-mile section. After 2010, we no longer had a dedicated funding source for development or evolution, as I call it, of the trail. And the statement about the community has been really the impactful thing that's led to my excitement about the trail and the opportunities that we have. The trail itself is only 30 feet wide, so making connections in the communities has to have the community. And art in public places slows you down. Lee talked about being coming distracted. It slows you down. It makes you linger. And what we're looking to do is we already have a high use of the trail. I like to say the trail right now is quickly becoming the Upstate's Main Street, because it goes through downtown communities, it revitalizes downtown communities, but since it's all connected, it makes people using that Main Street think, what else can happen in this other part of the trail? And so our project is, we don't have any public art on the trail, and what we want to do is we want to start that catalyst. So many things with the Swamp Rabbit have been a catalyst project. The leadership that said, let's buy this whole rail bed, and then let's give it to somebody else to figure out how to build it, fund it, and keep running it. Thanks, Brad. But it's been very exciting because we've heard about Traveler's Rest. Easley and Pickens have been using the Swamp Rabbit as an example of how to grow a greenway system there. And it always is a successful system. 1 minute, thank you. It's greenways, wherever you ask the community, they're desired, they're used, and it's something that causes community connectivity and expansion of growth. So this I see as a catalyst project. Like I mentioned, there is no art on the trail currently, and we wanted to create this, not the Blue Ridge Arts Council. Can you tell me this minute? I'll keep rewinding. All right, so let's go back. I'll stop right here. So we are in discussions with this artist. It's a nationally known artist called the Bike Scribble, and we have already identified 3 spaces of 500 to 600 square feet. So obviously something very dramatic as you come down the trail. And we're going to put these in locations like the Berea community and other areas that haven't seen that spark and haven't had that opportunity to get fully connected or still has many opportunities for continued growth. And what we also hope is as you see this and you stop and linger and you enjoy this trail, and you enjoy this artwork, and you go down the trail further, you go, wouldn't that be cool? Wouldn't this idea be cool over here? Wouldn't this idea be cool over there? And I'm very excited to get those ideas on. That's how we do stuff with the Swamp Rabbit. That's how we've connected with our communities is, you've got an idea, let's not be government, let's get out of the way and figure out how to fund it. I'm honored to be the finalist. We are honored to be the finalist, one of the finalists, and I don't mind competing against my friend Lee because Lee and I are talking about connecting the greenway systems in Greenville County to Anderson, just like Clinton has started engaging us, saying we want the impact of the Swamp Rabbit to come into our community as well. We feel that the art in those public places will expose the number of people that Brad mentioned earlier, 403,000 users a year, to public art. And then we will get people into the realm of understanding the asset that a trail can be, that can be our Main Street through our communities, and it can bring that kind of sense of identity and ownership in our communities because it's our Main Street. It's where the heart of all communities are. And I'm very excited to be part of the effort to expand that system and make it even more vibrant. Thank you.
Whew, almost last but not least. I'm Suzette Cross from the Blue Ridge Arts Council, and this is my good friend Ed Helbig from our City Council in Seneca. And we're excited to be here today to talk to you about another public art project, and this is called the 3-Part Public Art. It's a creative and collaborative effort between our Arts Council called BRAT and the City of Seneca. Seneca has been working very hard in the last years to promote our area of inspiring mountain views, inviting lakes, friendly people, and opportunities for everyone. The Blue Ridge Arts Center's mission is to provide opportunities for bringing art to the people and people to the arts. And together we have combined our efforts with the city to sponsor a mural to be designed and painted by a local artist.
City centers throughout the state have lost their identities as business migrates to wider, faster bypasses. Seneca has recognized the need to combat this in its historic downtown while trying to bring people back to the true city center. To that end, we've been promoting festivals and farmers markets, parades, and public transit. We are celebrating with local Upstate business Proterra as we are about to become the first all-electric transit system in the Part 1 of the community murals will represent tradition today and tomorrow. With the help of local historians, Scenes of Seneca will represent the once prevalent life of Seneca years ago, including textiles and trains that would stop at the depot. Murals would also incorporate our city's present as well as its envisioned future. Part 2, all aboard, will be a collaborative effort between the students at the Hamilton Career Center and local artisans who design and build street furniture with train motifs. These benches will reflect our significant history as a train town.
Part 3, Curiosity and the Cats. We'll celebrate our first realization successes in our most distinctive local attraction, Ram Cat Alley. It's oddly named, but it has many oral histories that give it its name. Ram Cat Alley has been host to numerous events and hosts the Jazz on the Alley throughout the summer. Curiosity and the Cats will incorporate movable art pieces that will allow children and adults alike to seek them out in a scavenger hunt. S-C-A-T. Middle and high school students will create literary cats with the help of local artists. The cat sculptures will be stashed around the downtown area, and people of all ages will love picking up the descriptive maps from local businesses and finding these hidden treasures.
The 3-part public art is meant to bring artists and students together in collaboration. It's meant to bring pride and a sense of place to our downtown. It's meant to educate and inspire visitors and locals alike. And it is meant to encourage vibrancy, beautification, and investment in the downtown. The Blue Ridge Arts Center and the City of Seneca both anticipate moving this project forward, and on behalf of both, we'd like to thank Tenant Top for this opportunity.
Good afternoon. My name is Red Watson, and I am with the City of Greer Parks and Recreation Department. And thank you for allowing me the opportunity to present our idea today on how we would like to promote community vibrancy. Greer is a pretty unique and diverse community, but in 1990, our population was just over 10,000 residents. Of those 10,000 people, less than 1% made up an entire demographic of non-Caucasian and non-African American citizens. We've come a pretty long way. Today the population is over 26,000. That demographic that was once less than 1% is now 11%. That less than 1% in 1990 was about 8 to 10 people, when today it represents over 2,700 members of our community. This move has provided our community with a more culturally diverse business base. 29 international manufacturing companies from 11 countries across the globe now call Greer their home. With that being said, it's our intention to have a festival to celebrate our cultural growth and educate and promote our international flavor to our citizens. We're proposing to call this festival Greer an International Destination. It would take place on March 29th of 2014. We picked the month of March because it is recognized as International Month by Upstate International. The event will be held at Greer City Park, a gorgeous 12-acre venue that is home to City Hall and conveniently located near State Highways 14, 29, 101, 290, and only minutes away from I-85, providing an ease of accessibility to anyone across the upstate that would like to come partake in our event. Greer, an international destination, will be free to the public and offer sports demonstrations representing different countries, visual arts, food vendors, activities for children, crafts from across the globe, and singing and dancing demonstrations. Funding from this grant would support entertainment, marketing, materials and supplies, and of course we would pursue additional private sponsorships and donors to supplement the event. Our annual juried art show and exhibition will also take place the same weekend as the festival. Winners from the contest will be announced Friday night during their reception. The theme for the art show this year will be inspired by international culture, and the artwork will be displayed during the festival on Saturday. This particular weekend was chosen for the festival as it boasts our 5th annual juried art show, which has shown much success and popularity over the past few years. We feel that this will help sustain the event for an annual recurrence and provide more exposure for partnerships, donations, and sponsorships. We will partner with the Greer Development Corporation, the Greater Greer Chamber of Commerce, the Greer Cultural Arts Council, staff from the City of Greer, including the Parks and Recreation Department. We will conduct surveys with visitors and vendors to measure customer service feedback and economic impact. Our goal is to provide a festival that will celebrate international trends, strengthen community image, provide a sense of place for the diverse cultures, and allow members of the international community to share their customs with others. We feel that a festival to celebrate the ever-increasing presence of diverse cultures in our city and economy is a perfect way to promote community vibrancy. Thank you for your time today. Thank you to Hughes Investments. Thank you to 10 at the Top. And thank you for considering our event, Greer, an international destination.
All right. Well, you can imagine how hard it was for the committee to come up with just these recipients, especially even to narrow down to that in the third. So I'm going to ask Phil to come back up. And again, while giving 2 awards today, we encourage others, and those who aren't chosen, who were finalists, or others, if you're interested in specific communities, as I said, we had from all over the upstate applications. Please contact us, and we'd be glad to work with you to try to connect to get funding for some of these other initiatives. So, Phil, turn it over to you for the fun part.
Thank you. And again, 30 applicants, tremendous time. Mayor Terrence Roberts of Anderson was a judge. President Betsy Fleming of Congress College was a judge, as myself was. And we tried to analyze them carefully, and we did not have an easy time. But we had to narrow it down, and we did, and I'm pleased to announce, I'll announce 2 winners next to come on up. The City of Anderson, please come on. Please be joined by the City of Greer. I'd like to say one other thing, that sometimes, at least sitting on this side of the room, I thought I was pretty good in math, but there's a sign on over here that I really have a hard time. 1,568. So maybe I don't understand math completely. But this year we were so overwhelmed with great applicants that we stretched a little bit and decided to name a 3rd winner with the Blue Ridge Arts Council. Please come. I want to thank everyone for supporting this idea. When the festivals happen within a year, they agreed to do it immediately. And I think that we'll all help do this year after year, that maybe we'll have a growing community of more vibrancy, more ideas for 10 at the Top. Without the support of everyone, none of this would be possible. So thank you very, very much.
We're only a minute or 2 from this section, so I just wanted, as I turn it over to Neil, thank Neil for his 2 years tenure as our board chair and all the great work that he's done supporting the Upstate. And I know he's supported the Upstate for many years, but we really appreciate what he's done for us. If you all would share a minute to give Neil a round of applause and thank you.
None of these organizations work just because of the dean and the chair or the executive committee, but I would like to recognize the board. If you're a board member of 10 at the Top, would you please stand? try to keep up with it. But once again, none of this would be possible without our support. So once again, I'd like to thank Blue Ridge, Blue Cross Blue Shield of South Carolina, Greenville Health Systems, Brown Mackey College, GSP Airport, and the Rutland Institute for Ethics at Clemson University. We certainly hope that all of you may choose to have your name in print. Because none of this happens without a lot of time, without a lot of money, and without a lot of dedication. We have a very small staff, but to convene and do all the things we do, it takes a lot of effort. So we hope that you like what you've seen. We hope that you like what's happening in the Upstate, and that you want to come on board and help make it even better. At this time, thank you, and stay for hors d'oeuvres and a little bit of minute.